So you're going to take an alcohol wipe and clean the skin really good. Don't be afraid to really get in there. Move it back and forth throughout the hair. Get it really, really clean. And then you're going to take your pre-inked mapping string, line it above the eyebrow, above the arches, and make a straight line. Now the purpose of the line is so you can get your ruler on straight. So after this, you're going to peel off your ruler, line it up, and just stick it on there. If you see how I lined up those lines. And then line up the middle with where the logo is. Should be in the middle of the bridge of her nose. Now I'm going to determine where I'm going to put the arch, and I'm going to mark it. I'm just feeling the brow bone. I do go into more detail in my online mapping, ultimate mapping course. So find where the arch is. We're going to determine the thickness, mark that. Always keep the thickness as close to your client's natural brow. And then you're just going to draw a straight line from the front to the arch and from the arch to the front and sort of meet in the middle. That's how I do my straight line. And then do the same thing on the bottom. Draw a straight line parallel to the one that you just did and stop where the arch is. Okay, and then just feel for the brow bone, and you're going to draw a straight diagonal line to the end of the tail where you determined you wanted to end your tail. Do the same thing on the bottom of the brow and bring it to a point. And then I'm just going to come in and round off that arch because I do not want a pointy arch. Okay, after you have that done, we're just going to fill it in. Fill in the brow with your pencil. This way your client has like a realistic look as to what her brows are going to look like. Of course, we're not done yet. Some people don't like to fill it in. I prefer to fill it in. That way my client can sort of see what they're going to get, because this is the mapping for an ombre brow. So when we're done, her brows are going to be filled in. So just quickly fill it in all the way to the beginning of the brow, making sure there's no missed spots. So I'm just filling in this side so you guys can see. I can show you the comparison between both sides. Normally I would map out both sides first and then fill it in at the same time. But you can do it this way too. Using your right brow as your guide, you're going to mark the same spots on your left side as you did on the right. Mark them so they are identical. Okay, determine where the top of the arch is. Using your pre-draw string, just feel for the brow bone, mark it. So now you know where the top of the arch is on the left brow. Clean it up a little bit if you need to. I'm going to take off that initial line that I drew. The first line that was there to help me just put my ruler on. I don't need that line anymore. So I'm just putting back the line that determines how high the arch is. So I'm just going to put those lines back in. And now I'm going to draw from the arch to the front of the brow and the front of the brow to the arch, sort of meet in the middle. Again, draw a straight line. You want the line to be straight. This is the easiest way for me to make a straight line, but if you guys want to use your string to make a line, you can do that too. Whatever is easier for you. I've just been doing it like this forever. I'm going to use my eyebrow caliper, measure the thickness on the right side. That is my guide. My right brow is my guide for my left brow. So determine the thickness. And then we're going to mark it on the left side. You just sort of push down, it'll indent the skin long enough for you to see it and just mark it. So once you have the thickness determined, draw towards you. And then you're going to draw away from you again to make that line straight. Make sure you stretch the skin. That's going to make it really easy. Okay, gonna use my eyebrow caliper again. I'm gonna measure the distance for the tail. And then mark it on the left brow. Same distance. Okay, mark it with my pencil. And then draw a line on the top of the brow where the tail is to meet that point that I just drew. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Draw a straight line to meet the point. Then we're going to fill it in. Just like we did on the right side. Fill it in really, really good. Now it's completely filled in, but we're not done yet. Okay, let's continue. You want to carefully take the ruler off, and I'm going to wipe off any markings that I don't need. So when your client sees her brows, all she sees is her brows and nothing extra. So just take a baby wipe and wipe off the markings. The secret to making your pre-draw look like your actual finished results is to use a mascara wand to blend out the front. So I'm carefully blending out that front to give that ombre effect. And you're just going to keep on doing that until you get the desired result you want. I really just take my time with this, but you're just going to go back and forth until you get it the way you want it, and then just clean up any excess with a baby wipe. You're going to keep blending it out until you get the desired results. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's what it looks like, but we're still not done. Next step is to take a single edge razor. I like using a single edge razor because it is super sharp. The secret to using a razor is just to make sure that you really stretch the skin and you can avoid nicking your client. You're not going to cut them as long as you're stretching the skin really good. So as you can see, I'm pushing down against the pre-draw, and that's what's going to make it really sharp. And then just remove any excess hair. If you don't want to use a razor, you can use any other method that you feel is easier for you. threading, tweezers. I don't recommend waxing because it makes the skin super sensitive, but I find using a razor is quicker, no pain. It really gets my pre-draw looking really sharp the way I like it. So you're going to repeat the same process on the other side. Trimming off any excess hair. Anything that's outside of your pre-draw, you do not need. So once you're done with that, the next step is just to brush off the hair using the mascara wand. Brush off any excess hair. Brows look super clean, but we're not done yet. Take your concealer brush, whether you're using a round brush or a flat brush, it is up to you. This is the round brush that I'm using. Get concealer, just a little bit of concealer on both sides of the brush, and start concealing. Now you notice that I am stretching the skin. Everything that I do, I really stretch the skin. And it's just a back and forth windshield wiper motion. Be careful not to get inside the pre-draw. All we're doing is making our pre-draw look really, really neat by concealing right up against the pre-draw. If you get up too high, you're going to notice that where the concealer touches your pre-draw, it's going to start to turn gray, and you don't want that. So the concealer is not to be used to adjust the shape in any way. It is just to make your pre-draw look really, really clean and sharp. You can see I just work in sections. And I only conceal the bottom of the brow, not the top, because the top is already super clean and sharp with the razor. So after that is done, I'm just going to use my finger. You can have your gloves on if you want to or not. I prefer not to. My hands are clean. I washed them before I started. So I'm just going to use my finger to blend out the concealer. You can see the difference between the right side that was completed and the left side that hasn't been done yet. It really just makes the brow stand out. So you're going to repeat the same process on the left side. making sure you do not over conceal. Okay, and that is it. We're done. Predraw is complete. Beautiful.